I need a bazooka.
We're live. Da-da-da-da-da. That's Chris Katsopoulos over there.
Yep.
Paulie D. Paulie D. Chris. Oh, he's over there.
We're gonna throw
Welcome
some,
to the
we're gonna throw some
Instigators
heavy checks
Hockey
tonight, like
Show.
Truba did.
Yeah. Boom.
Bang.
Welcome to the Instigators Hockey Show, where insanity becomes reality, and where we say we don't care what you think. We're going to tell you how we feel. No holds barred, and this is hardcore hockey radio podcast, whatever you want to call it.
And don't waste your time watching that potato head tonight in the White House, okay?
Oh, the bumbling idiot.
Tune into our show, okay?
Yeah, you don't need to listen to the propaganda and the nonsense. The bumbling idiot show has been canceled.
Yep.
The guy couldn't put together a sentence if he had glue. But I digress, and that's the fun of this show. Listen, I don't have a ton to talk about, but the things I do want to talk about are going to be a lot of fun. This is definitely going to be a New York Ranger show for the most part. We're going to talk about some of the trades that are going on or possibly going on or talking about going on. We're going to talk about Jacob Trouba's beautiful game last night and what it means for the NHL, more importantly. And I think Kotze has a few items he'd like to talk about. So by the end of that, I'm sure we'll get through over 30, 60, 70, 80 minutes of fun for the night.
My first thing I'm going to do, Paulie, and I'm going to interrupt everything, is I want to congratulate Jaromir Jagr. He's 51 years old. He's playing over in his homeland there, Czechoslovakia. He's got 1,099 goals now. I don't know about you, but that's a whole lot of pucks in the net.
Dude.
No matter where he's playing. 1,099. The closest I come to that was maybe in street hockey. Back when I was a kid. That's about it.
Oh, my God.
1,099, and he's still ticking.
What's he, 52?
51 years old.
Serious shit, man.
Oh, yeah.
That's serious stuff. That's good stuff. Jaromir Jagr has always been one of my faves. I mean, how could you not love that kid? He came in, you know.
With the mullet and the rosy red cheeks. Remember that?
Yeah. Played with Mario Lemieux and just became a tremendous hockey player and just a world renowned. So 1,099 goals or points?
Goals.
Damn. Holy crap.
That's more than Gretzky and Gordy.
Yeah.
That other guy who's chasing him. You know, that other guy.
You want me to say his name?
I could care less. Go ahead.
Alex O. Cots, let's start. Well, I don't know if it's worth it. I'm not really going to do much with this, but I was laughing my ass off today. Apparently, last night, I don't know if anybody noticed, but the Florida Panthers trounced the Tampa Bay Lightning 7-1. But apparently, a Tampa fan got into a little altercation with the mascot for the Florida Panthers, and I forgot, it's some kind of rat or mouse or whatever it is. And so apparently they're actually investigating this. They didn't. It looked like it was staged for most people, but apparently it wasn't. And it turned out to not be such a good scene. So all I remember seeing was the guy throwing punches at the rat and had the rat's shirt pulled over his head. So,
you know what? You and I were talking about it just before we got on the show. That news didn't make it up here.
It's not news. It's trash.
Well, no, that's interesting though to see what happened there. I'd like to see that. What is there? Is there a video we can look at somewhere later? Or there's got to be a video of it.
I'm sure there's a video. I will tell
I
you
need to see
that.
a video of that because I think that's kind of funny at the same time, and maybe stupid but funny at the same time.
It is funny.
But at least the guy was smart. He pulled the shirt over his head. The rat should have had a tie down, Paulie, like we had in the old days. Had a tie down on your shirt, it wouldn't go over your head.
Yeah. I don't know what's going on with this. All of a sudden, my Kindle Fire here, my fire is not on fire. It's just.
Well, that's because the potato heads. He scrambled all communications for everybody that's not watching them.
I think I found my problem. All right. So if you go to the hockeynews.com, it's there. That I seen it there, the hockeynews.com.
Hi, Beth.
Beth, I hear you calling.
Oh, who sang that song from? Was that Peter Chris that did that song?
Yes, the drummer.
You don't sound like him.
Oh, jeez.
I actually met him a few years ago. I don't know if you see that on my Facebook page. I got a picture with him.
I gotta find the story now. See, now you got me going here.
What about the rat getting punched out? Let's move on from that.
Move on. That's what she told me. All right. That's another Kiss song, by the way. And I can karaoke with some of the best. All right. Forget the Florida mascot. Look it up on the Hockey News. I guess there's an investigation going on in that. I don't really care. It doesn't matter to me. But the important thing is the Florida Panthers really shellacked the Tampa Bay Lightning, who have been a very dangerous team as of late. So it's good. They got cooled down. Beth, oh, you see, she loves that song. Beth is finding us a new apparel. I think we're going to go with Cody's guy. But anyway, I digress. We're going to get you your apparel, everyone. Try to join the chat group if you can. Kotz, I'll be honest with you. I don't know what that is. We, I believe, can get a third person on with us.
When do you want to do it?
Whenever you're ready. We have the formatting, so we can do it.
I will work on that right after the show tonight. Start looking at some interesting people to bring on.
Let's do it. So, Kotzi, we'll do a couple articles that I find interesting. You said no. What is this thing doing today?
Telling you.
Getting me pissed off. What was it? Well, do you want to talk about the fact that Horvat, they signed to a long?
Well, yeah, we talked about that. Yeah, let's do that real quick. It's the biggest trade made so far this year. Obviously, is Bo Horvat to the Islanders, and we were talking about it last week. Where is it a good trade? Is it a bad trade? And I kind of said half in, half out. But I think it's a good trade now. The fact that they signed it to a long-term deal. I think he's getting like $8.5 million. That's right, folks, $8.5 million. Over 8 years. Well, I mean, it's almost. I'm like Fonzie when I hear these numbers. It's almost hard to like get it out of my mouth because I think I made about 1.6 or 1.7 in 12 years of pro hockey, and this guy's making 8x5. So we'll just leave it at that. But what I found interesting was Lou Lamoriello, and I'm a big fan of his. I think. He's been one of the greatest general managers in pro sports, period, not just hockey, for what he did with the New Jersey Devils on a shoestring budget. But his quote afterwards when they asked him about the contract, he said it's too long and too much money. And what are you going to do, Lou? You got no choice. I mean, but in the end, I think the Islanders win with this one. This guy's a good player, Now you got him locked up. You don't have to worry about any bullshit, off-season about him going somewhere else for nothing, So he's all locked up and ready to go. Now it's up to them to produce. And I was looking at the Islanders, and not that I care about them. They're not out of the playoff race there, big boy. They're closing in again. You know what I'm saying? They're at 57 points, so they're within reach with 30-plus games to go.
Well, I think
I got my shirt on tonight, folks. You see, just in case. There you go.
I think
It warmed up here a little bit in Pennsylvania.
Oh my god. We fucking digress. All right. Well, I found that stupid article, but I don't care anymore. I'm moving on from the rat. You know what, Kotz? It looks like it is a good deal, especially when you can tie him up for a long period of time. Because you had said, wow, they gave up a lot to get this guy, and if he doesn't sign, then they gave up too much. So made the deal, but I feel like they're on the outside looking in, and I think this trade brings them over the top. I think the Islanders are going to make the playoffs this year. We'll see who's got to fall off, though, because I don't even think they're in the wild card, are they?
No, they're not in the wild card slot right now. But I think it's Pittsburgh is the final wild card slot right now, and then Washington. Washington's got 60 points. Pittsburgh's got whatever, same amount or pretty close to that, Paulie. And the Islanders have 57. So no, there's a couple teams. Even Buffalo Sabres have 55 points. They're not out of it either. I mean, there's still 30-plus games to go. And like I told you, a week ago was the second-place team down. Now it's like really the third-place team down because Carolina kind of took off a little bit. You lose 4 or 5 games in a row, you can go from third place to the 8th spot just like that. And if you're in a 4th, 5th slot, 6th slot, you can go right below that by losing 4 or 5 games in a row. So,
yeah. Well,
it's going to be a hack and slash dash all the way to the end for the final playoff spots. Definitely for sure.
Let's see. Get those Bruins to cool down a little bit.
They're not cool. They had a couple bumps, but
yeah, 83 ripping points, baby.
Yeah, they got 30 games to go.
76.
Yeah.
Nobody in the West has even broke 70 yet. Toronto hit 70. Carolina's got 76. New Jersey's got 70. So nobody out West has got 70 points yet. 68 points seems to be the highest right now for the Dallas Stars. With that being said, I mean it's going to be interesting over here in the East. Wild card wise, like you said,
Pittsburgh, Washington, and the East right now have the wild card.
Yep, and the Islanders are right there. Well, Pittsburgh and the Islanders are actually tied with 57 points. No, sorry. Am I right there?
No, I think Pittsburgh's got they're ahead of them.
No, they're tied 57 points. The Islanders have 57 points, and so do Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's ahead of them because it looks like they have a lot more games in hand too, though. About 4 games in hand. So, with that being said, it'd be interesting. Like you said, what are we down to? 30 games?
Some teams have a little bit more. Some teams have a little, like around 32, 33, 30, around there. But it's crunch time now. I mean, as you said about the West too. I mean, there was a time there was a couple of teams that were way ahead of each other, but now that's kind of closed in from the bottom top, like closed in the middle, like the whole thing, So, what do you got going on there? There it is. Oh,
it's my guy, bro. It's my guy.
He's a right-handed shot.
I'm actually a left-handed shot. We can make that fucking happen right now.
Oh, stop it. Oh, yeah, look at him.
There he is.
Who's that, your favorite there? Little Matt Zuccarello about this big?
So, let's do this. I want to talk about this because I think it's important. But I'm going to ask you some questions, Scott.
All right.
And I think we've done this 600,000 times or two. But I got Bobby Hull. I forgot to show you this.
Oh, more.
I didn't show you this last week.
It's not just me with toys. The Bobby Hull plaque.
Look at that, huh?
Yeah.
I didn't show you that last week.
Golden Jet.
The Golden Jet. All right. So, Kotz, Jacob Trouba last night was a beast. A beast. Yep. Throwing the body, old-fashioned, clean, hands down. Actually, not old-fashioned, because hands down. You couldn't make a cleaner hit in the NHL, a more professional hit. But this is not the first time, but I think finally the league is starting to hear the buzz. The man shouldn't have to defend himself every time he makes a clean hit. And he has had to do just that every time.
How long have I been saying this?
Long time.
A couple years at least, maybe longer. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous that you're playing a contact sport. It's still supposed to be a contact sport. Just in case the NHL officials and sheriffs and all that crap, don't know. And what he did last night was basically show what the NHL could still be had they not turned it into a circus with all the bullshit calls. Okay? I mean, you and I talked about this for 12 plus years, Paul. If you hit a guy clean in the chest, it's automatically going to make a guy's head snap back. So every person that's wearing a skirt today, that was a head hit. That was a head hit. That was a head hit. Bullshit. What Trouba did last night was he zeroed in on two players, nailed them both. Sammy Blais nailed Lucic with a good clean hit. And what happened after all three of them, Paulie? We have to seek vengeance right away. Right away. We have to seek vengeance. Which is bullshit. I just don't understand how the NHL continues to hide their heads in the sand over this crap. This was a common occurrence throughout the NHL from the 60s to the 70s to the 80s, even into the early 90s, Paulie, until they started putting in all these bullshit rules. Okay? If you went by today's standards, I know I'm beating the dead horse again, like, guys would still be fighting today from 1982. I mean, Wendell Clark was a perfect example of a good, clean, hard body checker. He had one of these kind of hits almost every game. There was a time in my career where I had one of these type of hits every game. I didn't have to necessarily drop my gloves immediately. Guys got to keep their heads up. That's all there is to it. Learn to keep your heads up. Learn who's on the ice. Jesus, God, I'm like Pete and repeat over and over and over. Do you not scout your team that you're playing? I mean, we used to sit in the dressing room at the night of a game, and we get that little insert that goes into the program, and there's the lineup. This is the starting lineup on the other fucking side. Okay, Bobby Probert, left wing, is playing tonight. Do you not think I know where he is then during the game? Every second when he's on the ice? You're fucking right, I do. Jason Trouba, known hitter. Oh, geez. Am I going to relax when this guy's on the ice? No. But the NHL's made all these players today feel so comfortable out there when it does happen. It just causes a lot of crap. I'm glad what happened last night because it exposed not just, players. It exposed the NHL again, Paulie. It exposed them again about their bullshit rules. Oh, we got to go to the videotape to see if it's a 5-minute major on Sammy Blais. You know what I mean? Remember that? How long did that take? How long did that take? Yeah. Just a lot of garbage. I'm glad. I'm so glad what happened last night happened. And let me finish it off with this, though. I did read a little bit of Milan Lucic's comments today because they were still in New York practicing. It's hockey in his mind. That's what it is. You better be prepared for that stuff. They weren't sour grapes about it. He wasn't sour grapes about it. I'm sure he wanted to kill somebody last night, but wasn't sour grapes this morning complaining to the league or complaining about this. God, it makes me sick. Anyhow,
I didn't read his comments. I didn't see him.
I did. I read him before we went on. He made comments to that effect that that's all part of the game. You should know what's going on out there. You should always keep your head up. Blah blah blah. It just makes me sick to see this though. And it happens. It's been happening over and over and over and over. This guy Dubé last night. I don't know whether you want to give him credit or not. The guy never fights, but he goes after Trouba right away after he hits Kadri. You don't fight. Why are you doing this? I want to see automatic game misconducts for this happening now, Paul. If you want to clean up the game a little, eject these guys. And at the very least, make sure you get the instigator rule right, too, like they screwed up on Zadorov last night. And just call it 2 minutes for being stupid, okay? That's it.
2 minutes being stupid.
For being stupid, yeah.
I love it. I love it. Gods, could you imagine? Would you? I don't know. Well,
how many times did you see Barry Beck lay guys out? How many times did you see Jeff Bukaboom lay guys out? As New York Rangers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, I watched Eddie Hospital in his prime, run through guys like he was a fucking freight train. Absolutely murdered guys with body checks. They always didn't result with fights. Sometimes they did, but not always. You didn't always automatically have to defend yourself. And I don't get it.
Barry,
Matt, Mace, they're all here again.
Barry, the China Wall.
Well, he's talking about he got his new pads today. We'll have to find out. We're gonna get somebody to report on it, see how many goals he lets in up there in his big.
We got to smoke some holes in those bad boys, Barry.
We're gonna see if that 5 hole is still leaky. So what do you think though about it last night, though, Paul? Seriously, I mean, haven't we had enough of this shit?
Listen, we've been doing this so fucking long. We've been talking about, I'm at the point where I think last night, the greatest thing that came out of last night is I really think the league is going to have to look at this and make some decisions because, like you said, a guy shouldn't have to defend himself every single time he throws a body check. It's a contact sport. Because he lays your ass out, because your head's in your feet, you're not paying attention, you're not watching, you're not thinking. That's not on him. That's on you. And the problem is, and I think it seems like it's always surrounding Trouba. There was other hits along the year. There was hits last year, and now it's like the guy takes and I love it because he did it twice last night, knowing last night that he would have to defend himself, and he was ready to do so. And Sammy Blais last night lights up Milan Lucic, man. I was really impressed. I was so impressed. Because he's not a hard guy to light. He's not an easy guy to light up and knock off.
And he's still, even though he's aged a little bit, he can still throw them pretty good too. So he's one guy that if you're going to hit, you better be ready. But fortunately, last night nobody had to fight him because Lucic can still scrap big time.
Oh yeah. He's a big, strong man. There's no doubt about it, man. No doubt about it.
But it goes back to what I'm saying, Paul. Like you're getting jostled and attacked for something that's considered a legal play,
right? And you shouldn't have to.
Whose fault is this? Why is this happening? Whose fault is it? I understand the team camaraderie part. Okay, I understand that. We had it in our day too, but. I think I've told you this 1,000, like your number, 600, 500,000 times. Listen, our number one guy and our number two guy and our goalie, those are the three guys that you need to protect at all times. When you start getting to the 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, all the way down to the last guy in the roster, it's up to you to keep your fucking head up.
Agreed.
That's all there is to it.
Agreed.
But they're going to get something legal.
And then not get the calls right. That's the part that pisses me off.
Zadorov's only 6'6", about 300 pounds, and they missed him on the attack on Blay there. The guy that instigated everything. They missed him. How do you miss him?
I don't know. I don't know how you missed that.
Then they go to the stupid replay that took another 20 minutes. Still couldn't figure it out right.
So, Cox, was that goal a kick-in goal, or what'd you think?
I thought it was, and I'm not being biased here. I mean, it looked like he moved. It didn't take much, Paul. I think he moved his foot about 2 inches, and that's all it took. But we're talking about the same crap that we've been talking about for years. You and I. We're going to be at a game in New York or Los Angeles or Pittsburgh, Florida, wherever. But we got to go all the way up north, up to Canada to get to the final results from Toronto because they have it all on tape up there. I don't know, Paulie. I thought that he kind of like moved his foot a little bit. Okay, if his foot was stationary and it went in, I think that would have been quite visual as well.
I don't disagree with you.
I don't think it was. I think he moved his foot. It's
funny because you heard Micheletti. And the whole time he was like, I don't think it's a good goal. I don't think it's a good goal.
And a shitty goal like that kind of turned the game around because 30 seconds later that shot by Stone, I don't think anybody could have stopped.
Right.
Blast gave them the lead and gave them a little bit of momentum. But I don't know.
I think last night, and we'll just keep doing this.
I don't think Brett Hull scored in that Stanley Cup 7th game either against Buffalo. But what do I know?
Yeah, I think last night was probably the biggest character game for the New York Rangers. I think it was a big character game for that team. I think
it had everything last night, Paul. That game had everything that a team wants to show that they can possibly do when it comes to the playoffs. And yes, I'll give your boy. But here's what I'm going to surprise you with him. I still think he's one of the tradable pieces for the Rangers, but his scoring last night, what he did last night, is something that Marian Gaborik used to do when Marian Gaborik was scoring goals. He did not give Markstrom a chance to set up. He shot the puck, and I can guarantee you people watching didn't realize he was going to shoot the puck either. They thought he was going to settle down even further and fire it. But he let go of the shots, both of them, the one on the offside and the one on that semi-breakaway, before the goalie was set up, squared up to the shot. And that's why he beat them on those. That's how Gaborik used to do it. It's not how hard you shoot it, Paul. It's not how hard you shoot it or you try to pick a corner. It's you make that goalie commit and move or in the process of moving and not square it up. And that's what Hedl did last night on both his goals. So I'm giving you a little tip of the cap there to your boy.
Well,
like I said, go Hedl, go.
He's showing what I had said he has the ability to do. So
20 games does not make a career.
Go Cheadle.
20 games does not make a career.
I get that, but I've been
20 games after 6 seasons does not make a career yet.
Yeah, well,
no, it doesn't.
I get that.
But I want that kid line to do great. I want what I've seen. I'll admit it. Since they put them back together, they're very noticeable. That the kid line, very noticeable on guys.
Well, I'm going to move on to something else because I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm one of those doom and gloom Ranger fans. I am not happy with Vinny Trocheck, man. I'm sorry. I'm just not. And I'm not happy with Chris Kreider. I think Chris Kreider is playing a lazy, lazy brand of hockey right now.
I don't know if he's hurt or what because, since people have started mentioning that to me, I kind of watched last night as close as I could with him. The part that bothers me the most, I think, right now with Chris Kreider's game is he has no inclination at all to hit anybody with any force,
Nope.
and I don't understand that. There's not even an attempt to hit somebody with any kind of like force at all. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
you can see that. You can see that. And I don't know if he's hurt, but it just doesn't seem like it's all there right now. His game. If you think about it right now, if it wasn't for him being on the power play, what is he showing on regular strength?
Nothing. I'm not.
They got to get him going though, Paul. He's got to get going to help this team.
Not seeing it. I don't like that line. I think that line sucks. I'll be honest with you. I feel like Vinny Trocheck is not. I don't know. I am not happy with Trocheck's game either, man. I got to tell you.
He's struggled a little bit. There's no question about it. I mean, I'm not going to argue that either. But when you take a look at the worst plus minuses on the team right now, it's Trocheck, it's Artemi Panarin, you know what I mean, and Jacob Trouba. So 3 guys that you're counting on, okay, that you need to play at their best. Let's face it, Trouba struggled quite a bit this year. Okay, he's another one that struggled, but his game's picked up a little bit. But he still needs to play a little better defense. Trocheck, he's got 13 goals or whatever it is. They've signed him to a long-term deal. He's got to be better too, Paulie. I agree with you. He's got to be a lot better. And Kreider's got to pick his game up. I mean, if the Rangers are going to do anything at all, you can't have these 3 guys, especially the 2 you're talking about right now. You can't have those 2 guys playing at less than average. You know what I mean? They can't be.
I know.
You can't rely on just Zibanejad and Fox and, this guy and that guy. It's got to be your top 3, 4, 5 players. And those guys are considered that, Paulie. And you're right. They're not pulling their weight right now.
So,
but again, I'm gonna harp on it. I don't even see like you're skating and he bumps a guy, but he's bumping a guy like he's bumping his girlfriend.
Right.
You know what I mean? He doesn't want to hurt anybody.
Yeah. Yeah. It's very concerning to me, Cots. I mean, I just, I'm not seeing, and he's penciled in to be, in this team to produce and to lead and to, I think that line needs more production. I think Chris needs to go to the fucking net, and he's not doing it. He's skating around the net. He's not taking bodies. He's not winning puck battles. I don't know. I just don't know. I'm really. I think you're right though. I think he must be nursing an injury because even before he got hurt and was out for a couple of games, I thought he was playing better. He wasn't giving me what I expect from him, but now he just seems so shy to use his body and to go into ugly areas.
It's possible that there's an injury. I don't have any inside information on that. I'm sure if he is hurt, they're not going to tell you anyways. It's one of those where you're hurt, but you can still play routine. Right. But you can't really be yourself. If that's the case, then I don't know what you do about it. But his numbers are not bad. I mean, we're not going to get the 52 goals, obviously, but he's still on potential to get 30 plus. So, and he's also a plus player. He's a +8 or 9 or something like that. So he's not really being a detriment when he's on the ice, but as one of the top players and one of the forefront leaders of the team, he does need to give more. There needs to be more out of it. And Trocheck's, he's going to have to pick up his game too. They signed him to a long-term deal. They didn't get, he didn't get like stupid money. You know what I mean? Like we're at 6, 7, 8 mil a year or anything like that. But he's got to pick up his game too because they're counting on him to be a little bit more offensively, but a lot better defensively as well.
Yeah, he shouldn't be a minus player.
No, no.
So a lot of dumb plays, a lot of turnovers, and a lot of just stupid stuff. Took a dumb penalty last night.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
That was a dumb penalty. Yeah.
Especially in the heart of
And,
the
and that
game.
almost cost them the game because they scored on that one. And the Rangers getting that too many men on the ice is another stupid penalty. How many times are you going to get a too many men on the ice thing? Why is it you do not know who your man is?
Wow.
That just means one thing to me, that you're not really watching. You're not really watching the guy you're up for. When you're on the bench in my day, I knew who I was up for. The next shift. If it was Al Iafredi in Toronto, I kept an eye on Al. Yeah, is he coming to the bench? Is he not coming to the bench? Blah blah blah. You don't just jump onto the ice because you think the guy's coming. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, he's almost here.
Well, that cost him a goal. That cost him a goal on the power play.
I know.
But never mind that. They came back. They won the game. Halak was really good again last night. I don't care if he gave up 4 goals. He saved. He had a lot of great saves early in that game and some down the stretch. Markstrom was good too.
Yeah, the goaltender was really good last night.
But winning it like that and Lafreniere getting the big points, and actually he played a damn good game as well. There's a lot of good things that happened last night, Paulie, and it was an enjoyable game, like you said, probably the most entertaining game of the year.
I think he did a fantastic job early on in the game as well.
Yeah.
Really, I tell you what, I'm very impressed with the Flames. I think they're a good hockey team. I know they're on the outside looking in, but the Rangers don't have many more points than they do. I think going in, it was like maybe 2-point difference in teams, but I thought they played a great game. I thought it was a spirited game. I thought it was, they led the entire time, and then they had to pull a comeback out quickly. They got great goaltending. There was, a lot of, hard hitting and things like that. So I think it was probably the best game of the year, like we had said, for this team that needed all those different components, man. Did they get it? So good stuff. Needle he was excellent last night, and hopefully he continues to just stay confident and focused and use his talent because he's very talented.
If they keep that line together, I think it's going to happen. Your foresight will come true.
What else? Oh, talking about the Rangers and trading. Well, first and foremost, I apologize.
There goes John again. He had a rough weekend, folks.
Looks like Horvat scored his first goal as an Islander tonight.
Yeah, I think they were winning, weren't they?
So, I don't have the scores, but yeah, I think they won here. Well, they are winning. Scores. Avalanche lead the Penguins in the third period. The Lightning lead the Sharks 3-2. The Oilers are leading 3-1 over the Red Wings. The Islanders are winning 4-0 over the Kraken. And there's about 2 minutes in the second period. And the Golden Knights beating the Predators 4-1. So there's the updates on that. I was going to move ahead and say trades, and let's make a deal.
Let's make a deal. Bob Barker, go ahead.
Yeah.
Who are you making a deal for?
Well, there's been a ton of talk about Timo Meier for the New York Rangers. And I think the reason why they haven't pulled the trigger yet is I think Greer wants a little bit too much for Meier. He isn't not unrestricted, but a restricted free agent at the end of the year, and they're saying that his cap hit should be around $10 million, which is going to be real costly and expensive.
That is not going to happen. I can tell you that right now. If he's looking at $10 million a year, that is not going to happen.
So I don't know, man. He's 26 years old. He's a big kid. He's having a lot of success this year. I'm not sure how many goals he has right now, but They're
You're
saying
you're gonna get. Listen, I honestly don't know much about him other than he plays out west and who he plays for and stuff. You're gonna give this guy $10 million when you're already giving Panarin 11 point something, and you got Zibanejad, and you got like 4 or 5 guys that have locked up basically 2/3 of your cap.
well, I don't know how they could load. I don't know how they could load it out. I'm just telling you.
Where are they coming up with a 10 million cap thing? That's what I want to know. Like, where's he going to get 10 mil a year? Maybe he will with some other team, but I don't think the Rangers can afford to do that unless you trade guys like Hito, unless you trade guys Lafreniere and Kako, all these pending contracts that are going to be coming up. I'm just that's
well, if I was being honest with you.
Yeah.
That's what we're talking about here. It looks like I'll give you a quick hit. What I read today was they're looking for 3 components. They're looking for a pick, a high-level pick in the future draft. They're looking for a current prospect, Hito, Lafreniere, Kako. Kravtsov would be good. I'd trade Kravtsov.
I mean, you're not going to get. They're not going to take him unless you get like a Hedel or a first round pick as well.
Okay, let me get to it here.
They're not going to do
that. All right, pending restricted free agent, San Jose, 26-year-old forward. He's got 28 goals right now. It's a big decision. Okay, Meyer will reportedly have been given a qualifying offer of $10 million as a restricted free agent. If that doesn't happen, he would become an unrestricted free agent on July 1st. So his qualifying offer, is $10 million. 1-year contract might be prohibited, blah, blah, blah. They lose nothing. Any team that acquires Meyer will likely want him to sign long term. That's all they're really saying. I had read a couple different articles with that. But like I said, what the prospects are they want a current draft, a high draft pick, a current prospect, and then
sure they do. What they want, what they're going to get are 2 different things. I mean, everybody tries to rob the other guy when it comes to trades, but it's amazing. $10 million. You know, if he comes to the Rangers, he's automatically the number 1 scorer on the team with 28 goals. I think Zibanejad's got 25 now, or whatever, 23. But $10 million a year. I mean, again, you've got Panarin tied up in long-term deal. You already got Foxy making about $8 million a year. You know what I mean? You're going to have Zibanejad looking for a new contract one of these days. And then you also got all kinds of trouble coming up with Kako and Hedel and a whole bunch of other guys. So I don't know, man. I don't know.
I think you're looking at maybe moving a player like, do you move a player like Trocheck? Do you move a player like Johnny Gaudreau? Not Johnny Gaudreau. Barclay Gaudreau.
I don't know if those will be the guys in return that anybody that they want because they're.
Well, I'm saying with the package.
I get what you're saying. I don't know.
Do you go Kravtsov and Trocheck?
I don't know if that'd be good enough for a Greer. To be honest.
And then like a Zach Jones or something, because they want a prospect.
No, I know, but if it was me, I wouldn't take those 3 guys for Meyer.
Well,
no.
I mean,
it would have to be better than that. It would have to be you'd have to be a first rounder somewhere, regardless where the Rangers finish. I don't even know if the Rangers have a first rounder next year or not. You know what I mean? It could be a year from now, 2 years from now, that first rounder. It'd have to be a first rounder. It would have to be probably a little better than a Zach Jones, which would mean a Kako, which would mean a Lafreniere, which would mean your guy Hedel, But let's put it this way: there's going to be all kinds of pieces to the puzzle being moved around the NHL right now because there's a lot of guys. This Chikrin guy out of Arizona he's been rumored for a couple of years, to be getting out of Arizona. He's a damn good defenseman with a good offensive side. Carlson in San Jose too. I mean, talk all you want. He's 32 years old, but right now he's odds-on favorite to win the Norris Trophy. But he's also got a big hit. I think he's got a $12.5 million hit or something like that. But it's his last. But it's also his last year, I think, on his contract. So
yeah. I don't know. I think the Rangers need a bona fide scorer on top of it if they really want to go far in the playoffs. I think you can't count on Kreider. Okay, so you got Mika Zibanejad, you got Panarin, but Panarin doesn't have the best playoff records in the world. Okay, who do you got after that bona fide? You can hope on the kids. You can hope.
But that's what I think they're counting on right now. I honestly think that.
But I mean,
much to some people's chagrin or not, they're counting on the kid line producing like they've been producing since they've been put together.
Yeah.
If they could add a point or two every game, you know what I mean? A goal or two every game, that solves a problem right there, Paulie.
Sure. Well, sure. But, I don't know. I mean,
it's a risky move to take on a guy that's going to be commanding $10 million a year. That's all I'm saying. When you've already got those guys making that kind of money, not a risky move. Rangers did this in the 90s. Remember when they signed everybody? Lindros, Beerley, everybody. How'd it work?
Didn't?
No, early 2000s. It didn't work. They threw money around like they were Frisbees. They're still throwing money around like they're Frisbees today. You might have to start throwing your money around like manhole covers soon.
Yeah, well, I don't know, Cuts. Do you think the Rangers need to do something? And what biggest need they have?
I'm totally different than you. It sure would be great to add a scorer, but at what expense? Is it going to cost you too much to take another run at a Stanley Cup run? I know what kind of player I think the Rangers really need. It's like a Josh Johnson up in Montreal. That's what you need. You need him to play a second line, third line situation. You need a big, like you say, big and strong. Big and strong is needed when it comes to the playoffs. All that finesse, shiftiness, and all that bullshit. It only works when you got the physical play taken care of.
What did you think of the third line last night? I thought they were. I mean,
they were good. Yeah, they were good. I'll admit, yeah, they were good.
I'd like to see Sammy Blais move up, to be honest with you. But
he's not going to get moved up based on what he's done this year. I'm sorry, but that's
I'd like to see him get moved up. I think he could put the puck in the net, and I think he'll play.
He had a great opportunity last night when he had that backhand and everything else. Remember when he walked right?
I'd like to see him play around the net a bit. I really would. But I tell you who I love. I live. Is it Cooley or Kylie?
Cooley.
Well, I thought it was Kylie, but anyway, Will Cooley.
The last week it was Cooley.
I love him. I love him, and I know that he's going to be a mainstay. I mean, you need that, and I think he can play. He's not afraid. He's not afraid to mix it up. He's not afraid to go anywhere. He's not afraid to go in the corners. I think I saw him last night. He made a couple of really sharp plays. He thinks the game well. I think he's not a liability defensively right now. I think he's really smart. I think he's strong along the boards. And you talk about physical. If you can get him going and you can get Sammy Blais going, I hate to say this, and I hope that it's really not personal, but I don't know, man. I think Barclay Goodrow is playing in a position or in an area where it's way over his head. That's how I feel. I don't know that. I don't know that he's in the right spot. The guy's not going to. I don't know.
But I'm going to be a devil's advocate on you. Have you seen how many goals he's got?
With this season, what's he got?
Well, he's
5
got
goals?
more than you think he does.
What's he got?
Well,
What's
he's
he
got
got?
more than you think he does.
What's he have? How many goals does he have?
I don't know, like 9, 10, 11, something like that.
Goodrow?
Yeah, look it up.
I will look it up right now. I don't think he had more than 6, but you might be right. You might be right. Let me see.
I'm just saying, he's actually contributed offensively this year, Paulie. You know, and I don't know where would you like to see him play that? You tell me.
I don't know.
Are you saying that he shouldn't even be there? That kind of thing?
I think he's a 4th-line guy at best.
I'm not going to disagree with you, but I think that there's the problem with the bottom half, basically, of the Rangers forwards. You've been waiting 6 years. I'm going to go through this now with you. You've been waiting for 6 years for Filipino to finally show something. Okay? And he's finally starting to show something. I'm not convinced 100% yet, but I'm happy for him. We're still waiting on Kako and Lafreniere. We're still waiting for Julien Gauthier. Okay? We're still waiting for a lot of guys like Sammy Blais. Okay? These guys are all have been given their chances to show something at one time or another, and neither one of them has been able to grab a hold and choke that spot like a stranglehold. Neither one. You can't say that any one of them has taken advantage of the opportunities they've got. So that's the problem. The Rangers are trying to figure out the bottom 6 to 8 forwards where they really fit in. And right now, Hedo's proving it. He's a second-line guy. Should be ahead of Trocheck right now. I agree with you. Okay? But that doesn't necessarily mean that Trocheck won't turn it around. It doesn't necessarily mean that somebody else might not turn it around. I'm just saying to you, like, how many machinations are you going to go through with all these guys that are, they play great one game and then you don't see them again. I have nothing bad to say about Barclay Goodrow. He drops the gloves, kills penalties, blocks shots, and he's scored more points than I thought he would.
He's got 9 goals. He's got 20.
Last I looked, that's not too bad on a team where your leading scorer's got 23 and your leading point getter's only got 12.
Yeah.
Artemi Panarin's only got 12 goals, Paulie.
Yeah.
So there's Barclay Goodrow who gets, what, 1/3 of the ice time? He's got 9?
Well, no. Isn't he playing with
He's not on the power play. He's not out there in the crucial moments to score goals. Come on.
Yeah, well.
Barclay Goodrow's done his job. He's good enough to play 3rd line and 4th line.
I don't disagree, but he's playing on the 2nd line, isn't he? Didn't he play wasn't he playing with last night? Wasn't he playing with Vinny Trocheck?
Well, yeah, they just started this like in the last couple of weeks or a couple of days. They give it a shot, see what happens. You know, you got to give it a shot. I mean, because the 2nd line wasn't producing the way it was. You got to give it a shot. Right now, technically, to me, the 2nd line is the kid line. Well, I don't even want to call it the kid line. One old guy and 2 kids. No, they're the kid line. They're technically the second line right now. The way they
I wouldn't disagree with that. I
got to at least admit that much. You know,
I would definitely say that, but I don't know, man. I don't know. You look at playoffs. I don't know. I'd like to see a Meyer on this club. I'd like to see somebody.
You're gonna have to give up a hell of a lot more than you think to get him. That's all I know.
I'd like to see a bona fide goal scorer.
Well, if you're gonna get him, then you're gonna have to give up a Hedel. You're probably gonna have to give up a Cock or a Lafreniere, a Kravtsov, and a 1st-round draft choice. So choose your poison. They're not going to trade just for a Kako and a 1st-round draft choice and a Zach Jones. They're not going to do that. It's not going to happen.
Well, they want prospect, so I don't know.
Prospects, yeah, but you're not really. Are you really getting a bona fide prospect in Zach Jones? You know what I'm trying to say? You don't know that.
Right.
You're hoping now on him,
I don't know.
and
I
and
mean,
you're not going to give up. You're not going to throw a Zach Jones, Kravtsov, and a number one draft choice into Greer's face and say this is his best deal we're going to make. He's not going to take that.
Yeah.
It's gonna have to be a Hedel. It's gonna have to be a Kako. It's gonna have to be a Lafreniere. It could be a Trocheck. Could be anybody.
What's I'm saying?
But it's not gonna be the bottom tier prospects on the Rangers. They're not gonna accept that for a guy that's got 28 goals already and he's only 26.
You're gonna go with a Trocheck and a Hedel?
Yeah, probably I'd do that.
Trocheck, Hedel, and a pick probably is what.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
They're looking for 3 parts.
I know that, but I'd say now that you say that, I don't know if Chris Drury's willing to do that. It's not an easy situation, Paulie.
You seem to think he's expendable, and it's probably the best.
I do think he's. If you're worried about cap and money, he is going to be a problem because he's doing what most Major League Baseball players do when it comes to a contract year. They start to play well. Okay? So he's playing his way into a bigger contract the way he's going right now. So what does that mean? Does that mean Hedel's going to sign for $3-4 million a year? No. Let's say, for example, the rest of the year, Hedel gets close to 30 goals. You know that $10 million that Meyer was asking? Hedel's going to want at least 8.
Yeah.
Now you're Chris Drury. What do? Who do you get rid of to put him on the team? It's going to be hard to move Kreider. It's going to be hard to move Panarin. It's going to be hard to move Zibanejad. You're not going to move Fox. You got to sign Keandre Miller pretty soon, too. There's another one I keep forgetting. You're going to have to sign all these guys, and then you're going to give $8 million to a guy that's been basically a third, fourth line center, but showed up great for 1 year.
Would you move Kreider?
It's possible.
I'm saying for Meyer. Would you move Kreider for Meyer?
Probably, yeah.
Kreider for Meyer, you think you throw in a prospect?
That's not going to happen. They're not going to take that because Kreider's in his 30s now, early 30s. They're not going to do that. It's so fucked up now, Paul. It's not funny anymore. Like I said, you and I've talked about this a billion times too. But like you work for one of the world's largest car companies in the world, where money's no fucking object, right? It's not an object on how business is run there, is it? But the NHL and all the pro sports now want to try and make things equal for every team in the league by telling you that you can't spend any more money even though you're worth more.
Yeah.
Which is stupid.
Would you say the Rangers' worth was now $2.2 billion?
$2.2 billion. The number one NHL franchise. They surpassed the Leafs finally.
Where did the Leafs rank? About 1.8?
They're probably right around the same thing. 2 point whatever, 2 billion. You're not going to buy these teams for less than $4 billion. That's just the bottom line. When Forbes always puts these numbers out, I guarantee you, like, if you wanted to try and buy the New York Rangers, Dolan wouldn't even probably look at you unless you said $4 billion starting point.
And what did you say Ottawa's up for sale for?
800 plus million.
All right, you ready? Rub some pennies together. Let's do this.
What, buy them?
Let's do it.
Well, there's about 15 groups trying to buy the Ottawa Senators right now.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah, there's about 15 groups trying to buy it. See, that's where they screwed up the NHL. If you're gonna make franchises like worth something too, you got to have that inter-province battle like in Canada, where they should play the Leafs 4 times a year, Montreal 4 times a year, but they don't. So whatever. No, it's going to be a tough thing. Rangers are going to have a tough time making these moves. They have the pieces, Paulie. I'm not going to argue with you on that. You are right. They have the pieces to make the moves to get anybody. It's just a matter of who, how much, and where and when. That's the problem.
I guess my question is what do you feel the Rangers need to really make a deep run? Do you think this team is the team? That's my first question. Do you not do anything?
No, it's not the team. Not the team. I still think they need big, beefier guys. And there's two things this team needs right now. They need more scoring support for when the Panarin and the Zibanejads and the Kreiders and the Trocheks do not score. So that should come from the kid line. Okay? That's got to come from the kid line. And it's coming so far. So far, so good. But I still think they need a little more meat up front. Paulie, you can't have a guy like Leschyshyn right now who's played 28 games this year in the National Hockey League. He's dressed for 28 games, and he's got 0-0. You can't have a Sammy Blais just out there to hit all the time. Sammy, don't be afraid to score 5 goals and 10 assists in a season. You got to contribute somewhere sometime.
Well, I think Sammy can do it. I think he's the guy. I do think he's the guy.
Well, he could be. You could be right, but I just don't think he's going to get the opportunity that you want him to have. Well, he's not going to listen. He's not going to jump ahead of the kid line.
I get that.
Would you agree with that?
But I don't see why you wouldn't dabble with them the way you fucking put.
Would you agree with that? Do you think Gerard Gallant's going to jump him ahead of anybody on the kid line?
No.
No. Do you think he's going to jump him ahead of anybody with Zibanejad, Panarin, and whoever? No.
Who's he got playing on that line now? VC? VC on the top line?
VC's got more goals than you think, too.
No, I like VC. I think VC's been really good. I've been very happy with Jimmy VC. And I think it works on that line because he's the guy who's going to go get you the puck or try to get you the puck.
And he's got a little bit. He's got a little bit of ability. He had a great opportunity again last night too. Another backhand.
He can handle the puck. He has the ability to try to chase it. He's got decent speed. I'm very happy with Jimmy VC. But now, look at the third line. I would definitely move Blais up to the third line. I think. I don't know. I think I'd give him a chance.
But that's what I'm trying to get to you and the people listening is you have him, you have Cooley, you have Gauthier, you have Kravtsov, you have this guy, you have that guy, and they're all like third, fourth tier players. And they're all scrambling around trying to figure out. The Rangers coaching staff is trying to figure out which guys are actually going to grasp that job.
Yeah.
You know, listen, Sammy Blais is not going to jump from number 4 to number 2. He's not just going to jump to number 3. He's got to produce offensively, not just with the hitting part. That's because what's his face did all that for us at the beginning of the year that we traded to Minnesota. He did all the hitting for us. They didn't jump him up to the third or fourth, second line. You understand what I'm saying here? These guys are like Gauthier at times looks like he should be on the first line. You know what I mean? But he just never seems to settle in for more than a game or two.
Yeah.
You know, Goudreau's a guy that can play with any line. That's my point with him. Does he deserve to be up on the first line, second line? Probably not. But you know what? If the other two schmucks aren't doing the job, why not? He's got 9 goals. Means that's 9 more than you got. You know, when he looks back behind him. It's a tough thing, Paulie. It's a tough thing. I don't. Sammy's got to start contributing offensively for him to move up the ladder. That's my point. I'm not saying he doesn't have the ability. I'm not saying he shouldn't get the chance. But the problem is, will he get that chance?
Yeah. Who knows?
That's the biggest problem.
I think this team needs a bona fide scorer.
Well, I'm not going to argue with that. But I also think they need a little bit more size up front. You need a guy that like a Josh Johnson, like this guy. This guy can score, and he's physical and he's strong and he goes to the net. That's the kind of guy that they need to contribute with the guys they have. It's called addition. You're adding something to the game.
Yeah. Well, I don't know, man. I don't know.
I know a little bit. I know a little bit, but I don't know enough about Timo Meier. Okay, is he another fancy Dan? Is he physical? Does he like the rough stuff at all? Can he fight through the the trenches and shit like that? I don't know. Because if you're just adding another slick, skilled player, you might as well get Patrick Kane. Well, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, Patrick Kane don't have 28 goals right now, though, either.
Okay, but if you got another 28-goal guy that plays soft.
I get it. You're quiet in the chat room. How does anybody feel about Meier? What would you be willing to do for Meier? Do you think he's the right guy? You don't think he's the right guy? What do you guys think? Come on. What do you guys think in the chat room? Is Timo Meier the guy that helps propel the Rangers to the next level? And if not,
the other thing that I just thought of too is how many guys right now on the Rangers have no trade clauses?
No. Is that part of a freaking deal these days?
It is part of the deals these days where, So I'm wondering, like, I'm pretty sure some of the guys at the top salary-wise got a little no trade or have a limited trade, destination. So I don't know. Don't know anymore. All I know is the salary cap sucks.
I'd trade Kreider for him. Just saying.
It's a good thing you're not GM because they'd be shitting all over you, boy, New York.
Why?
They'd probably boo you. They love Kreider. Come on, he's been a true Ranger.
Yeah. I think his time is done though. I think his time is done with us. That's just what I think. I don't know.
Does he have the second most goals on the team right now?
Yeah, I'm sure he does. He's 20 goals, right?
Yeah.
20 or 21 goals.
Well, he's right behind Zibanejad then.
Oh yeah, there's no doubt. He's right behind Zibanejad. Well, I think you can trade him, and I think right now Kreider's worth is still higher than him. And I think he's.
Oh, we got a Jack Collins coming in there with a Kreider's. Myers a little -13 there in St. Josie.
Yeah, you're going to see that a lot with big time goal scorers.
No, you're not going to see that a lot with big time goal scorers. Go take at the top of the list of the NHL right now and go see how many top 10 guys are minuses. You're not going to see that. But again, apparently Mason says he does have a little edge to his game. So.
Let me see here.
You're going to see very few guys that are minus up in the top 25 in scoring in the NHL, Paulie. And I know one of them is not in the top 25, but that's Panarin. He's on the outside looking in, like 30th.
What's Panarin? What's he, like a -8, -10?
Oh, I think he's higher than that. I think he's double digits or something like that.
Oh shit.
Yeah, I'm not positive, but he could be 8 to 12, something like that. Yeah, your top guys. I looked at that today. Your top guys in NHL, they're not minuses, Paulie. They just score too much. You know what I mean? When you got 92 points.
Well, I'm not talking about players like Connor McDavid.
Well, you just said to me the top scorers, and the top 25 in the league.
Let's see here. Well, Kucherov picked it up, huh?
You what?
I said Kucherov picked it up. Yeah. Kucherov.
He's been a good player. What's the 19 mean? Richard, what's 19 mean?
One thing I hate is he's not.
Kreider's got 19 goals. Is that it?
No, Kreider hit his 20 goal mark. I think on his. I think
birthday.
on the.
Yeah, his birthday.
Whatever it was.
So you're on this big Timo Meier train. So we're gonna have to wait and see.
Well, I'm not. Listen, I'm not just on a Timo Meier parade. I'm on a. I think the Rangers need a goal scorer. I think they need someone who's burying the puck right now. Okay, that's what I think they need. That's what I'm on.
So if Kreider was having that 52-goal season again, you'd be okay with it?
If Kreider was having that 50-goal season again, then yeah.
I get it now.
I think, yeah. But I said this last year, and I think we both agreed upon it. It was I don't want to call it a fluke year, but I mean, I think Kreider had a career goal scoring year, and it was a lot higher than the level of who he is, the player.
Oh, yeah, but he earned it last year, okay? Because again, he realized by going to the net and learning how to deflect pucks was going to be productive for him. And that's all I ever said about the guy from the beginning: go to the net, go to the net, go to the net.
Go to the net.
Took him a long time too to go to the net.
Very long time.
No,
we'll talk about somebody who was slow developed in their talent.
Kind of like somebody else we've been talking about too.
And the guy, he learned how to use his body and stopped using his body. Because when
he stopped using his body a long time ago.
He first came in the league and he used to use his body.
It's been about 8 years since he's actually been a force physically.
Yeah, well, I mean, I watched him get knocked off the puck last night. That's not something that you used to see with Chris Kreider. Well, but I don't know. I don't know, man.
I think I when we started this thing, I said to you right off the bat, I think they could add a goal scorer, but are they counting on the kid line being that? Do you disrupt what you got? Period. You know what I mean? With the kid line. Because if they're going to go out and get a Timo Meier, it's going to include somebody from that kid line. I guarantee that.
I wouldn't doubt it.
It's got to. If I'm Greer, I'm not taking craps off. Okay? I don't want him as the key guy. I don't want Zach Jones as the key guy. I don't want any of those guys as the key guy. I want those guys to be the third guy after I got a first-round draft choice and somebody that's already playing at a decent pace right now. That's my point, okay?
So out of the three, you would give up Hedl.
I think you'll get more for Hedl than you would for the other two right now. I really do.
Of course.
Way more.
Yep.
Way more.
Well,
but I will bet anybody that you're not going to get Timo Meier for just a Hedl and a Zach Jones and a first-round draft choice 3 years from now. You're not going to get it for that. They're going to ask an arm and a leg. Somebody's going to give it to them, and if it comes down to the Rangers have to do something more than that, then it ain't worth it. It's not worth it. Sorry.
Mike, I love Milan Lucic. I mean, I wouldn't trade for him now, but I mean, if the Rangers could have picked him up on a shoestring budget or whatever, a cheap contract,
he's another guy right now that there's so many guys like when you go to the Canadian websites, Paulie, he's another one that people are talking about maybe picking up to help out a team that thinks they can win it all. If Calgary doesn't make the playoffs, if they decide that they're not going to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'd go after him, Mike, but I mean, for very, very little. I wouldn't give up. I wouldn't give up a lot for him.
No, because he's on the downside of his career.
Oh,
There's no question about it.
He can add a little flame to anybody, though. He definitely could bang a little.
Well, he'd be good with Sammy Blay on one wing, him on another, on a fourth line, and go out and run the shit out of the best defenseman on the other team in the playoffs.
Yeah,
that's how you do it. And that's what the Rangers still lack. I don't care what you tell me. When you got that big giant in Tampa there, the left defenseman, you got to run that guy. You got to run him. Somebody's got to hit that guy over and over and over again. And for a 7-game series, you just keep running and hitting him. This game will wear down, but if you don't hit him, nothing's going to happen. Will Meyer produce more than Laugh, Healer, or Cocker? Well, see, here we go. You know what? That's a good question because if you do make a trade for that guy, you know what that means automatically? You got to showcase. You're not going to trade all that to get this guy and play him on the second line. So the next thing you know, he's on the first line. Then he's going to be on the first power play. So who do they kick off the first power play? That's how this is how the NHL works, people.
Yeah.
You're not going to get a 28-goal scorer, and then all of a sudden he's not on the first-string power play. He's not on the first-string line.
Oh, no.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, no.
That's where you'd see, like, maybe Kreider off the power play line. That's where you're going to see maybe somebody else. Maybe they go with 4 forwards, like they've done at times. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be interesting. There's a lot of stuff going on. The Leafs are looking at who are my Leafs looking? They're looking at that Chikrin guy. Possibly picking him up. He'd be a guy that they could use in Toronto too, because Toronto's another one that is loaded skill wise, but I don't think they're still. Their goaltending's been a lot better, and I think their goaltending's been solved, but they're still not a team that can handle those 6-7 game series physically. So you're just not going to win with ballerina dances on the ice. Okay, skilled players all the way through the playoffs. It's not going to happen.
I just think you need somebody to bury the puck. So.
Well, you can have all the guys you want burying the puck. If it's all going to be all that, then why haven't the Leafs won a Stanley Cup?
Well, I mean,
why haven't they?
They keep running into some tough teams, man.
Well, because that tough team's got somebody that's a little more physical than them.
Well, I don't know, but I guess we'll have to see.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. When is the deadline? March 3rd? I think it's March 3rd, right? The deadline?
I'm not positive.
I think it's March 3rd. I believe it's March 3rd.
Beth, we need your help. When's the deadline? March 3rd?
Yeah, I think it's March 3rd. This is who the Rangers really need right here, Paulie. Jonah Hex to play forward.
Oh, Jesus. This guy with his fucking comics.
Well, you with your little green man behind you.
What?
Oh,
you guy.
There he is. He's green now. Little pink.
Fucking turns all kinds of colors. Blue, red, green.
I think you need to put that a little higher and a little closer to the screen next time.
I'm going to put it on my shoulder like a
There you go. There you like a little devil talking to you.
Yeah, right? Oh, my God.
So you think it's, in the end, we're going to finish this show, and you think definitely a scorer is the first thing. Yeah, I thought it was March 3rd. Beth, thank you. You think that's the first priority for the Rangers at trade deadline is a scorer? Okay.
I do.
I'm not arguing that. I think that's probably number one too. But if they just go with that, then it ain't going to be enough. They need a little more. They need a little more size, and a little more.
See, I don't know. I think with Will Kiley, I think with Sammy Blay, I think with your boy Goodrow, um, um, obviously, I think they have that element. I mean, Trocheck's not afraid to take the body and play down low, and
When you obviously, and I disagree on this. Okay, so I'm going to bring this up. As much as I don't like Tampa as an overall team,
right.
even their little shit guys in their team have more brazenness and more physicality than half the Ranger forwards.
I mean, Stamkos is physical.
I'm talking about the other little guys that play center on that team. One of their better players, not Kucherov. Pain in the ass type players that take the body, that take run at people, and all that stuff. Who on the Rangers does that that's considered a top 6 player?
Well,
That's what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to get a guy that can score and be that kind of player. I don't want another pussyfoot player. I don't care if he scores 60 goals. If you're gonna win a Stanley Cup adding just nothing but a pure sniper without addressing that part, it's not going to happen. Not going to happen. You got to have a little bit more physicality with a skilled player, Paulie. That's why I bring up a guy like Josh Johnson, okay? That's why I bring up certain guys like that. To back up, that to be on that second line, that he's going to score once in a while for you, but he's also going to let the other team know that I'm going to hit you every time I'm out there. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about, you can't say Sammy Blade. You can't say this guy because they're not producing at all offensively. You can't. That's why they're stuck on the fourth line.
I get it.
I'd love to see Sammy Blay all of a sudden turn it on, feel a Petal like. You know what I mean? Start like getting a goal or an assist at least every other game. You know what I mean? Something like that. I agree with you. It'd be great. It'd be great for the team. But how much ice time do you give a guy that's got 0 and 0 basically?
Well,
it's a tough call.
You beat the dead horse until somebody comes up with something.
But it's a tough call as a coach. That's my point. You got a bunch of guys that can either be third line or fourth line, but they haven't really grabbed the hold of it. That's the way it is right now with their third and fourth lines. And you're right. Trocheck's got to play better. We're going to repeat that again. And Kreider's got to play better. If Kreider even picks it up a little bit and Trocheck picks it up a little bit, then you've solved your scoring problem. And you're hoping that the kid line continues to improve, which I think they're probably going to do. Then you can go out and get a little more beefy guys that you're going to need in that long run. But just loading up with pure skill and pure speed and pure stick handlers. If that's the case, the Leafs should have won 4 Stanley Cups in a row.
No, I don't think that's it. I think they need a guy who can bury the puck. The power play's gone to shit lately. Hasn't done what it needs to do. They need a guy. Chris Kreider's not scoring goals the way he was.
He's still second on the team in scoring.
Okay, but on the team means nothing. That doesn't mean you're going to win a Stanley Cup. You got to break fucking barriers, man. You got to start scoring goals.
Okay, but where's the rest of the guy? We waited 6 years for Filipino to get his 18th. Okay? We waited 6 years for. Well, 18's not good enough. Why don't you take over for Kreider and you score 52?
God.
I'm just saying, you're waiting for somebody. Cockle, Lafreniere.
I'm not waiting for anyone.
They're waiting.
The team is a fucking goal scorer. Everything's on Zibanejad and Panarin. That's why Panarin's probably a
only because two guys,
Jesus Christ on the ice.
Only because two guys
all the time.
Only because 2 guys are not producing to the way they should be, and yet
Exactly.
We're still waiting for number 1 and number 1 draft choice and number 17 draft choice. And you want to go out and sell the farm for just a guy that snipes, and you think you're going to win a Stanley Cup with that? Good luck.
Yeah.
Good luck. You're not going to win a Stanley Cup by just getting Timo Meier. Okay? You're not going to do it. It's not going to happen. Boston Bruins will run you right through the fucking building. So will Tampa, because they're much, much more physical with their skill.
Well, you ain't going to win with what you got.
Well, you'll see. We'll see in the end. Just telling you. Then you got other guys coming. You got Othman coming next year. Where are you going to put Will Cooley? Is he going to be a fourth liner forever? I'm just giving you all the machinations. You got a whole bunch of guys in the minors. You got a whole bunch of guys in junior, that are supposed to fill these spots, but they haven't yet.
So what are you going to do?
So all of a sudden, if Panarin doesn't score points anymore and Zibanejad does, do we get rid of all of them too? I don't know. All I'm saying is I'm looking at this team in a logical situation. Logical. Goaltending is very, very strong. As strong as anybody's in the National Hockey League. Defense is better than average compared to everybody in the National Hockey League.
So
offense, believe it or not, is not as bad as you think when you go look at the numbers at the plus-minus differential on goals for, goals against. It's actually not bad, okay? Would I love another goal scorer? Yes. But do I prefer that over some guys that are going to grind for you in the playoffs? No, I don't. There it is. That's my final say on it. I don't prefer that. You do, I don't.
I get it, but you got to score goals to win games.
Yeah, and you got to hit, and you got to play grinding hockey to win games too.
I get it. So,
and the last time I looked in the Stanley Cup, I didn't see 7-6 games, 7-5 games. Okay, they don't play that kind of hockey in the playoffs, Paul.
I don't disagree with you, but how are you going to get there?
Well, they're right now.
You're going to add a bunch of grinders?
For as bad as you think they're playing offensively right now, they're doing pretty damn good.
Okay.
Standings-wise, aren't they?
I get that, Kotz, but that's totally different when you get in the playoffs.
Well,
you're not scoring on the power play. So, I mean, do they have enough scoring prowess to win a Stanley Cup? That's my question. It's very simple.
And I told you, and it's very simple on my part too. You can add all the scoring you want.
Okay, you're not.
It doesn't matter. It's not going to matter unless you take care of the physicality part of the grinding part of the game.
You have people. You have people who are supposed to play physical. Barclay Goodrow's. They're not
the biggest guys on earth. Like when Tampa picked up Paul. Look at the size of Paul. How big is he? And how important is he to that team? He's a monster. He's 6'2", 225 pounds.
So he's your Stanley Cup guy? He's the guy who's going to win it for you?
He's a guy that helps the guys like Stamkos and Kucherov and everybody else do what they do. Okay. Because he's out there doing all the grunt work.
Okay. So you got grunts, but they're not doing the work for you, I guess.
They're not big enough. Physically, you're not listening to me.
Okay.
You're not monstrous guys.
Okay.
You can do what you want. I agree with you. You got a right to agree with what you want to say, and I got a right to agree with what I want to say. I don't think scoring is my priority right now. It's not my priority. To you it is. And nobody's right, nobody's wrong here. Yeah. You're asking me, and I'm telling you right, I'd like to see a little bit more grinding type guys up front that can actually contribute a little bit, just a little bit offensively. A little bit, not zeros, not 1 or 2. Like 10 goals a year, maybe 15 goals a year. How many goals does Paul score a year for that team? I'll guarantee it's not 0, and I guarantee it's not 10. One of the best trades they ever made.
Yep. I don't disagree with you, but I don't. They
didn't need any more scoring, that's for sure. They certainly didn't need any more snipers, did they?
Well, no, they have what they need. They have a bona fide goal scorer in Kucherov. They have a bona fide supreme player in Braden Point. They have a Steven Stamkos. They have a Victor Hedman who's got a heavy shot. They have so many more components than.
So let me ask you a question: Why did it take them 5 fucking years to score? Why did it take them 5 years to win a Stanley Cup the way the lineup was before?
Who compares?
Why did it take them that long? Why did it take them that long to win a Stanley Cup until they added that?
To change a game.
When they added the physicality part of it, they became a Stanley Cup champion. You won't admit it, will you? When they added the physicality to that team, then they won a Stanley Cup.
Patsy, I get the physical part of the game. I do.
Wow.
You have components in place, though.
Jeez, who'd they get from St. Louis on left wing? Who'd they pick up from St. Louis on left wing? Who'd they get again there? What's his name with the beard? Jeez, I think he helped them win a Stanley Cup too, didn't he? What kind of game does he play?
He's not available.
What kind of game does he play?
He's hurt.
Oh, that's right. Physical and tough. They didn't win shit without physical and toughness till they got it.
Okay.
So there you go.
So that's it, huh?
Well, I'm just telling you, the Rangers have plenty of those kind of guys that have the potential to score goals.
Okay.
They have plenty of guys that have the potential to score goals.
No.
Are they doing it on a consistent basis? No. But Tampa didn't win crap without the physical aspect added to their team.
So
they got Paul. They got the guy. What's his name? Come on. What's his name? Left winger for them with the beard.
Who?
The guy from St. Louis that won 2 Stanley Cups and 2 with Tampa.
Patrick Maroon.
Yeah, they go out and get these 2 guys, and all of a sudden they win Stanley Cups. I guess scoring overtook their physical play. Wow. They needed that to put icing on the cake, is what I'm trying to tell you. Okay? And if I'm correct, too, who'd they get on their defense, too? They got that kid's the father, tough physical defenseman there.
Foot.
Yeah, they added these guys, Paulie. Big 6'2" and over guys to go with their slick Kucherovs, Stamkos, Braden points, like you said. They couldn't win it with just those guys alone. And they didn't win it with those guys alone because they didn't win when they were a soft team. When did Washington win their Stanley Cup? When they added that idiot right winger. They got physical. Physicality is still part of the playoffs, Paulie. It's just as important as scoring is. Trust me.
Well, I get that, but I think the Rangers have physical. I don't think that they use their physical. So that's where I differ from you.
The biggest difference between you and me on that is the physicality is coming from second line and third line players on your Stanley Cup teams. Where you're on the Rangers, it's not coming from your second line. It's not coming from them at all. And it's barely coming from your third line because technically your third line is either the Kid line or it's the Trocheck line. So which one is it?
Well, I think that if the Rangers utilize some of the size that they have, they'll be in a better position that way. I don't think the Rangers have a bona fide scorer right now that is complementing Zibanejad, to be honest with you. And I am not going to put my stake in that Kid line in the Stanley Cup. I'm just not going to do it. It's a great add-on, but it's not what I see, man. You know?
That's fine. You're allowed to do it, but I just want to point out to you how Tampa did not win a Stanley Cup by the way you're thinking. They didn't, and it's proof. You can yell back at me all you want. You cannot unchange the 4 years of highly skilled Tampa Bay Lightning until they added beef to their team. They added guys that.
If fucking Chris Kreider would drive the goddamn net and use his.
Well, they don't have that, so we got to do something about it. They don't have that anymore.
He would be better than Nick Paul.
They don't have it.
To his fucking
they don't have it.
But he doesn't. So
but they don't have
get
that.
rid of them and get somebody who could score goals then.
Good. Then go score goals and lose in 6 games. You'll win 2.
So, I mean.
You'll win 2.
I get that you need physical, and I understand that you need physical. But you have players that can be physical. You don't have guys that are fucking bona fide scorers.
And what you just said is contradicting yourself. You have guys that can be, but you also have guys that can be a scorer too, right?
You got guys that can
be physical, but they can't be scorers.
But you don't want to put them anywhere. You want to leave them on the fourth line.
You're the coach. I've been trying to tell you this whole show. Where are you going to put Sammy Blais right now with his awesome production? What part of his production says, Sammy, you deserve to go up right now?
Well, I'm
just being honest with you.
I get that, Chris. But when are you going to evaluate if he's either going to be there or if he's not? You got to figure out if this guy can help you during the Stanley Cup playoffs. Because if he can't, either put him down, trade him, or do what you got to do. But I feel like we're just dragging our feet with the same fucking players every fucking year, and it doesn't get you any fucking where. And I'm not going to put the third line or the second line, the kid line, to say they're going to win me a Stanley Cup this year, because they're not. So what are we talking about? Think about it. You got two fucking guys who produce on this team, Panarin and Zibanejad.
Do me a favor. Go to your iPad and check out how many goals for the Rangers have compared to the so-called high-scoring teams. Go ahead. Do it. Go ahead. I dare you. I dare you to do it.
Do what, Chris?
Well, you're going to sit here and tell me that their scoring is that bad?
When it comes to the playoffs? Yeah.
And their physicality sucks too.
Yeah, but whose fault is that?
Well,
why haven't they addressed it? They go out and get a physical guy, and then they get rid of him. And they do this year after year. They go out and get Sammy Blais, and they just drop him on the fourth line and throw him to the garbage. They go out and get fucking Ryan Reeves to protect the fucking team. They go out and they get rid of this guy.
Where did Sammy Blais play when he won a Stanley Cup in St. Louis? Do you remember what line he was on?
Sure, he was a fourth line guy.
Thank you. So case closed there. Okay, so don't even argue that anymore.
Okay, Chris.
Well, you can't argue that anymore.
You just said go out and get somebody.
I want somebody who can hit and score. I don't want anybody who just can hit.
Okay.
I told you after the beginning.
Okay. And who's available that can hit and score?
Well, then Tampa found Nick Paul at the right time, didn't they? Who the hell ever heard of Nick Paul? I never even heard of the goddamn guy. I knew he came from Ottawa. Never heard of him.
Who's this miracle guy? Because if he's available, just trade the team for him.
Well, who's the miracle guy that's going to bring you over the top scoring wise?
Well, I mean,
who's your miracle worker there?
I think you could go out.
You can go out and get McDavid. How many Stanley Cups has he won with his 9,000 goals? You can go out and get what's his face from Toronto, Matthews. How many Stanley Cups has he won with all his goals?
Well,
took Steve Stamkos how many years to win a Stanley Cup? And what kind of a team did they have to build around him?
So, what is your suggestion, Chris? Who's the guy?
I'm telling you right now, is you go with what you got. If you're going to give up the whole 9 yards, it's not worth it. Rebuild for next year.
I don't know who's the 9 yards. Who's the 9 yards? You keep saying they all fucking suck.
No, you're the one that says they all suck. You're the one that says they get rid of everybody every year.
Lafreniere, we're waiting on still. Kako, we're still waiting on. And you love to ride Hedel. He's the best of the three of them right now.
Yeah, and he should be. He's been in the league for eons.
Okay, so that matters for some reason.
Why are you so quick? Much? Okay, so why are you quick now to get rid of the fucking kid line that's producing? Why are you so easily saying that they can't do it? Why? Why is it so easy for you to say that now when all you've done is blow Hedel for 6 years?
I love Hedel, but
let him go. I'm happy with him right now. Let them go.
If you let him go, where are you going? What do you get?
Let them continue to do what they. I'm not talking about that. I said let them go as a line. Keep them there. That's what I'm talking about. Let them play. Let them play themselves into.
So ride it out and see if they're going to win you a Stanley Cup. That's
exactly. Before you give up the whole junkyard pile for one guy that's not going to win you a Stanley Cup. You could add all the scoring you want. If you can't play a physical grinding game in the playoffs, Paulie, that's the part you don't get.
I do get that. I get that.
Telling me the
100%. I've
Blaze,
been talking
you're
about
sitting there
that
that
for
Sammy
years.
Blaze is
I
going to be
think
the guy.
that's easily
You
attainable.
say that Sammy Blaze is going to be that guy constantly, consistently?
No, I think he can help. I think he can help.
I want a guy that can do that plays third and second line, not fourth.
What do you think about Cooley? Are you going to give him a shot to play or what?
Of course he's going to get a shot to play.
This year.
Yeah,
this year.
Of course he's going to get a shot to play. Yeah.
Well, I don't know.
Cooley's got better potential than Sammy Blay right now.
Okay. But I still think that if you're talking about physical, I think Sammy Blay can bring that to you.
Well, he can do that nicely on the fourth line. Don't start jumping up to the third and second that he deserves that. He doesn't deserve that by his play.
All right.
He's gone 28, 30 games this year, and he's done nothing.
I'm good.
He's done nothing, though, Paulie. Where has he done anything?
Chris, we're left field and right field right now. It's not my point.
We are left field and right field now because you're asking me to put my faith in a guy that, God forbid, I understood he blew his knee out and he's still working it out. But you want me to give him a second line job with his production that he's had so far?
No, that's not what I'm saying at all. You're saying we need a physical element. You said
move him up.
Yeah, move him up. See what he can do. See what he can do right now. You're saying, well, you ain't earned the spot. Nobody on this fucking team really earned this. John Goodrow has earned a spot. I don't know.
He's got nine goals. Okay.
He's got 9 goals. I know, and he's played 50 fucking games.
And until Hedl did something in his last 2 weeks, that was more than Hedl had. So you're arguing apples to oranges now.
Well, I don't think this team's got it in them, buddy.
Well, they're not going to get it by just picking up a goal scorer. That's all I'm going to say.
Well, I think that's a start. I think it's a start. And giving up a guy that doesn't seem to break the mold anyway, what's the big deal? So what? They give up Hedl for fucking Meyer and they give up a pick. So what? You seem to think they're not going to sign him next year anyway. And he's not worth shit, so
you're not going to fucking get him for that. That's my point. Get that through your head. You think you're just going to give up a Hedl and a pick for him? That Greer's going to take that? What are you kidding?
I told you they were looking for 3 elements. They're looking for a prospect, that's Hedl.
No, they're not going to.
They're looking for a number 1 pick. If the Rangers even have a number 1 pick, I don't know, but I'm assuming
they probably do. But it's going to be a couple years from now.
Okay, and I don't know. What do? Do you go Trocheck? Do you go Kravtsov? What are you going to do? There's no way they're going to package a fucking Lafreniere and a Hedl and a number 1 pick.
I didn't say that, but they're not
for
going
Meyer.
You're not going to just throw Hedl at Greer right now.
I know. I said
and a first round draft pick and a Zach Jones, and you think Greer's going to bite on that? I don't.
I told you
he's going to want more than that. He's going to want more than that. Well, he's going to probably. I'm not saying Trocheck's the guy, but he's going to want a guy that's at least played the game at a fairly consistent basis throughout his career. Not a guy that's shining bright in his sixth year, okay? He's not going to want that.
I don't know.
If you want to throw Trocheck first rounder and Hedl, he might think about it.
Okay, well then you're giving away the farm.
You're not going to get what you want for this. Well, the Rangers are going to have to pay heavily to get this guy. That's my point. And I don't think he's worth it.
Well, if he's not worth it, what are they going to do? They're just going to ride this team out.
Oh, well, they've been riding it out all year, haven't they?
This team don't win a Stanley Cup.
I didn't say they were going to. Did you ask me ahead of time? Do I think they can win a Stanley Cup? I didn't say that.
I don't. But anyway.
You're not gonna win a Stanley Cup by just adding a sniper. Okay? If that was the case, they would have made the trade by now. Okay? They would have made a trade by now.
You got to make some kind of. You got to move.
They know their deficiencies are what they are, and it's hard to figure out how to get
We
it.
need somebody to help re-spark the power play. They got to start scoring on the power play again. And like I said,
I don't think they need somebody new to the power play. You do. You know what I think they need to do? I think they need to give the kid line the first string option over the guys that aren't producing right now, and keep going back and forth with the guys that do it.
And
that's how you do that.
And I think the guy that you're talking about that they need, this team had last year, and Chris Kreider scoring fucking garbage goals.
But they also need Capo Caco and Lafreniere to be the guys that everybody projected them to be. They need Filipino to make sure that you do this the rest of the season. You guys have been, you've been in the league a few years now. You were highly touted people, and so far so good. I give them credit on the way they played. They seem to like each other. They seem to have some kind of chemistry with each other. But I am not going to mortgage, even me, the farm, to go out and just get a Timo Meier and then come back and say, oh, after we don't win a Stanley Cup, holy shit, now he's going to want a 5-year deal, a 7-year deal for $70 million. No, not going to happen. I don't do that move. Don't care. There's got to be another sniper out there somewhere that you can fucking find for half that money. If that's the big case, I still think they need a little bit more brute force when it comes to the playoffs. Boston's a physical team. Tampa's a physical team. Even Washington's physical. There's only one team in the East that they should play that they won't have a hard time physicality-wise, and that's the Toronto Maple Leafs. But every other team out physicals them.
Well, I guess we'll have to see what happens. But I think they got to do something. This isn't the team to win it.
I'm not arguing to that. I said that to you from the beginning.
So,
a score, in my opinion, is not going to do it. You think it is? I think more physical stuff's going to help them. You don't?
No, I would love to see more physical stuff.
That's the way it goes.
I think we hold the people accountable that are not playing the physical element that we need them to be. Maybe we move that person. Maybe we move Trocheck or Kreider. I don't know if they can move Kreider, but I mean, I don't disagree with you. I would love to have Chris Kreider of last year back this year and then add a sniping component and say, well, let's see what happens. But I would love to have a Milan Lucic back in the day when he could actually score 25 goals in front of the net. I actually think he was a goal scorer when he was with Boston.
He scored 30 goals.
Big, ugly goals standing in front of that. They don't have that element. I don't disagree with you. I agree with you 110%. I just don't think that fucking element's available anywhere. The guy that you do have is not doing it. So I don't know what to say. Because that element's not available unless – there's a guy out there that a team's willing to move. I would love to see that. A guy who gets 25 goals by standing in front and hacking and whacking and making people pay. I'd love to see it. It's just not there. Meier's available. I don't know. There's not an old Milan Lucic available. Dustin Byfuglien. I would love to see that guy in front of the net again.
You could talk all you want about it. I disagree with you. I just don't think that that's going to bring them over the hump. It's not going to do it without the other part. It's not going to do it. Like I told you earlier, the Tampa Bay Lightning won absolute shit with their soft, high-skilled scoring players. Then they added the guy from St. Louis. Then they added this big Nick Paul. Then they added that defenseman. All of a sudden, they had a little bit of balls on their team that made Braden Point and that other little shithead even more cockier. Okay? They were able to withstand physicality when they won their Stanley Cup, where they couldn't do that before. And they were loaded with scoring. All right. Well, see, you don't want to get that part. You want to get your shit on me about the Timo Meier thing, but you don't want to hear about that part. You don't want to hear about the Leafs who have been.
Gosh, I heard you 6 fucking times.
How many times have I heard you with the Timo Meier?
I heard you. How
many fucking times am I going to hear you with the Timo Meier thing? That he's available. He's available. It's the same shit. You're no better than me, and I'm no better than you on this. this.
Oh my God.
It's the truth.
Yeah. Well,
I'm
I'm
not
out.
right. You're not right. I'm not right. And you're not right.
I've had enough of this fun tonight. Anyway, I don't know. I think the team's got to do something, but that's just my opinion. Anyway, I hope everyone had a great night. Hope you enjoyed the show. I'm old and tired, and I've had enough today.
Hold it. He never admits that, guys.
I'm
he's
tired.
old.
I've had enough.
The tired part, yes. But the old?
10:30 now. All right.
Josh Anderson. That's the key.
All right. So anyway, not sure next week. I will let everyone know. Usually Tuesdays or Wednesdays are usually the best days, but we'll see what happens. I don't know.
We'll just check the schedule, see what's going on.
Other than that, I've had enough. So I love everybody. Have a great night. Good night.
I gotta go have a beer now.
I'm done. I'm shot.